G'day and welcome to another Pokemon Go video. So jumping straight into Ultra League and let's see how we go. So recently I've had a bit of technical difficulties in which my computer's crashed, so I've lost a few recordings and things. Haven't been able to post anything in a little while. So I have changed up my team since the last time I successfully got a recording, and there it is. So Lapras in the lead, followed by Alolan Muk and Cresselia. So double legacy Lapras, so Ice Shard and Ice Beam, and the rest are fairly standard. So the Cresselia is running Future Sight and Moonblast, and then Alolan Muk, obviously that's going to be very standard, Snarl, Dark Pulse and Sludge Wave. So let's jump into these battles. I've sped them up, so it won't take long. So first match, got the Togekiss swapped out, and then I swapped into the Zangoose with the Cresselia. So probably not the best move. I should have swapped out into the Alolan Muk there. But now I'm in the matchup, there's nothing I can do. So managed to get a debuff there, which has really saved me. So they've got, I think it's Shadow Claw there. So Alolan Muk would have been 100% the best play, and not the Cresselia. But I mean, it is what it is. They got one shield, and then they've got their own Alolan Muk. So I'm able to get to a Moonblast and throw that before it Dark Pulses me. So managed to switch into the Lapras there and catch the charge move. So again, I'm worried about the Togekiss in the back, because obviously I need my Lapras to deal with that. It will not be able to. So the only way I'm going to possibly have a chance against that is if I can get a Sludge Wave off with my Muk. So let's see how we go. So get the Muk out there, and let's see if I can get there. So I've swapped out to try and catch a charge move, which I managed to catch. Absolutely amazing. And then managed to farm it down and get to a Moonblast a little bit. And so let's throw that Moonblast and see how we go. So I've got the Gunk Shot stored up. So jump back in, throw the Gunk Shot. And that's good game. So there's game one done. So that was worked out quite nicely for me. Got really lucky with that those switches. Really should have swapped into Alolan Muk on that Zangoose. So that's how you definitely 100% should play that matchup, rather than swapping in the Cresselia. So this is an awful lead. So if you've got a Poliwrath on the lead, switch out. Especially if you're running if you're running the Lapras, you will lose every single day of the week. So swap into Cresselia, because obviously that's going to be super effective, and if you swap into a Alolan Muk, that's also not great. So you get a little bit of energy build up. I was able to again get a debuff there. So if you get a little bit of an energy advantage, it's not too bad. As you can see, I've gone 2 shields in here to try and win this matchup. So now is when the Dark Pulse start coming through. But I did get the debuff, so I'm pretty happy with that. So managed to throw these debuffs and swap out, and they've swapped into Armored Mewtwo, which is a really interesting play. I'm going to assume they accidentally swapped there. Let's see what this is. It is the Psystrike. So again, 100% they've made a mistake there. They were not supposed to swap into that. Let's see what... yeah, 100% they were meant to swap into the Poliwrath, because that's going to be the play on the... yeah, that's definitely the play. So I think I got really lucky there. So switched in. So this is going to be... oh no, so they threw the Dynamic Punch, so they probably should have thrown the Ice Beam. Here I'll just go straight for the Future Sight, because it's going to do huge amounts of damage. And then I can... I've got a full health Lapras, able to farm down the Poliwrath and then throw the Surf straight on the Alolan Muk there. So that one worked out alright for me. Getting that little bit of lead on the energy generation on the Cresselia really saved me there against when matched up against the Alolan Muk and getting that debuff. So that really helped, and obviously going 2 shields deep. So got a Murkrow on the lead, so that's an interesting one. So flying, so obviously it's going to be taking a lot of damage from the ice, and so I threw the Surf there so I could get ahead on damage. So they have thrown the Earthquake. I was not expecting that, but I guess that is the play. Throw the Earthquake. So they've not shielded that, and I also managed to get a debuff, so no shield here. It's going to be a Hydro Cannon, and then I'll commit to farming down. So then I've got a bit of energy when I know that the next thing coming out is going to be this Haunch Crow. So I've decided to shield this up just because I'm at the Moonblast, and I will either get their second shield, which I have got, or it will take a huge chunk of health. So they're going to have to use energy here. So they've burned some energy there to take me out. I'll come back into the Lapras because it's going to be doing super effective damage. Be ready to switch here. So I'm just charging. So I will throw up this shield. I've got a lot of energy and I do not want to waste it. So I don't know what's going to come out in the back. And it's a Scizor, so that's not ideal. But because I've got so much energy farmed up on this Lapras, I can just constantly throw Surfs. So they are able to get to a charge move. Let's see what it is. Iron Head, and I'm able to survive it, so I can throw another Surf straight away and take that game. So GG's right there, so farming up all that extra energy. So really happy with that one, and didn't have to even come out into the muck. I don't think I saw the muck there, so happy days. That worked out really well. Jumping into the next one, and let's see what we get. So this sort of gives you an idea of a bit of a neutral matchup, so I don't really know what to expect here. So I can't swap into the Cresselia here, because obviously that lick damage is going to be absolutely monumental. So the worrying thing here is, do they have a superpower and a body slam there? So they're throwing back to back, so I'm going to assume that's another body slam, which is fine. So they've managed to get one body slam, one shield bait, so I don't want them to get a second, but I am concerned that the superpower could come through, because some people run superpower and some run earthquake as a secondary move. So out comes a Melmetal. So super effective, that rock slide, and I'm just going to let this go. So unfortunately it didn't take me out, and it was able to farm up a bunch of energy. So for this one I'll come into Cresselia, which is a questionable play here. Let's see how it plays out. And so the reason for that is, again, I'm worried about the superpower that that it's going to have, because these run Rock Slide Superpower every day of the week. So they've swapped into their own Cresselia here. So this is a really interesting one. So what I possibly should have done here, so I'm looking for a debuff here, didn't get it, and I need them to start using some shields. So after they've burnt their energy, I've then swapped in to try and get to a charge move before them. I wasn't able to, but then they didn't get a debuff, so happy days. So they still haven't shielded this up, which is really interesting. Able to get to another charge move, so I should be getting a shield here. At some point they've got to start shielding, so I will use my shield here as well, and we'll see how we go. So they've now swapped it out into the so I was fully expecting them to come at me with a superpower there to take the muck out. I was managed to get and I can get there. So this battle has taken a long time. Able to take out the Melmetal, and because I had 2 Pokemon left, timed out, and I managed to win the match. So that's when you have massive bulky Pokemon. So they had 3 bulky Pokemon there. So they had 2 bulky Pokemon and Melmetal. I guess in the Ultra League, Melmetal isn't that bulky, but that's how that one played out. So keep an eye on that clock and see how you go. So this is a sort of a neutral match, so it's bad for both of us. Yeah, neutral because it's terrible for everybody involved. So charge up to the Ice Beam there, threaten that and throw a Surf and hopefully Shield Bait, which I was able to do. So they're going to be throwing another Frenzy Plant, and I'm going to need to shield those up, and so I'm going to overcharge, and that has cost me very, very dearly. So what I needed to do was throw the energy quicker, so instead they were able to get to another Frenzy Plant, so they're up a shield and they took me out and I wasted all of that energy. So there's a lesson. So I've committed now to farming this down, so I have got a lot of energy stored. But they come out with their own Alolan Muk. So swapping out is not a good idea, I would imagine. So they did Gunk Shot me there, which is not the way to go. So 100% they wanted to Dark Pulse. Able to get a debuff on that, so that's really, really lucky. Again, this took a while, and they've thrown another Gunk Shot, so 100% they must be running a single move, and it is Gunk Shot. To be completely honest, if you've only got one move, I would run Dark Pulse rather than Gunk Shot. There's more Psychic. So now I'm in an interesting position. I've got to take out this Swampert. I have got a lot of stored up energy, so throwing all of that. If they get to an Earthquake, this is GG's. To be honest, even if this is Hydro Cannon range, and that's good game. So it took me out there. So swapping into, and that was a 4-1 set. That last game was a real bit of a monster there. So Giratina in the lead's good for me. Obviously super effective. And then out comes the Fighting and Fire type. So Blast Burn is going to do a lot of damage, but I can tank one of those. So let that first one go, and then throw the Moonblast. So no shield, and I was managed to get a debuff. So really would have been good to use that shield on the first Blast Burn, because the second Blast Burn would have been debuffed and I would have survived with a little bit more health. But you're not to know. So out comes the Charizard, which is a interesting one. So I guess they're bringing out the Charizard because they know that I've got the Lapras in the back there, and so for this one, instead of coming back out with Lapras, I'm going to come out with the Alolan Muk. So this counters the Giratina really, really well, and I'd rather keep the Lapras for the Charizard. So that is what I'm doing. So I'm contemplating throwing a shield up here, but no shield. I'll throw into the Dark Pulse, and they can either shield this up. Well, obviously they can shield this up, but if they don't shield this up, it's going to be taking them out. So I'll swap into the Cresselia. I thought I'd be able to get to a Moonblast there. Wasn't able to. And they've now swapped in and gone straight to their Charizard for a good old Blast Burn. So what I'm going to do here is I'll charge up a little bit extra. I don't want them to get to another Blast Burn, but I do need a little bit more energy so I can throw a Ice Beam onto the Giratina as it comes in. So it did that, almost take it out. It gets to another charge move. I should have enough bulk to survive this, easily enough bulk to survive that, and then fast move it down. So just be aware of what the Pokemon are in the back, and just because you've got so obviously the Lapras was an absolutely excellent matchup for Giratina. It was I was swapped into Muk because obviously with the Charizard in the back, those Surfs are going to do a whole lot more damage than Dark Pulses from Muk, so that's why I did it that way around. So jumping into the next one, so let's see how we go. So Clefable and all of the Charmers are absolutely awful. Charm just does so much damage. So when you've got Charm users, I just find them really difficult to battle against. Probably because I don't really have much in my team that can deal with so much damage output. And it is fast move damage. So as you can see, just throwing straight up Surfs to try and get this thing down. Was able to take it down, but I have gone into a shield disadvantage here. So out comes the Registeel, also not not ideal for my team. Able to get to a second surf. So again, when you're against a Registeel, so the steel typing is going to resist all of the ice type moves, so just throw those surfs. So now the question is, what do you come out with? Obviously you have to come out with the Muck, but then you need to be careful of the Focus Blast, because the Focus Blast is going to do a lot of damage. They have shielded that up, so now we're on equal shields, and the question is, I've let this go because even if it is the Focus Blast, it's not going to KO me, and if they're baiting, it's a really good play. So now I'm wondering, okay, so they've double shielded this. What is in the back? So there's obviously something in the back that's also weak to the Alolan Muk, which is why I threw my second shield up there. So able to almost, and I've now swapped this out, so straight into the Dark Pulse and straight into the Giratina, and I will swap out into my own Cresselia there. So obviously I was hoping to try and catch a dragon move there, because that would have been much better, but not able to do so. So I was able to take that out, and then this should be a relatively easy farm down. Obviously they're going to throw the Flash Cannon, not going to do enough damage, and then I'll be able to farm them down, even though those fast moves are resisted. So managed to take that win pretty comfortably there. So it's just a matter of thinking, well, why is your opponent double shielding something and not saving a shield for the back? And it's probably because they need to take out what's in front of them. In that instance, it was very weak to whatever it was in the back. So in this matchup, again, so possibly what the plan should be is probably save up to the Ice Beam, just because it's going to do a little bit more damage and threaten a shield. So I shielded up the Gunk Shot because I didn't want it. They took a long time to throw that move, so I took the chance and was able to shield up the correct move. So again, this is probably going to be a Gunk Shot. Does a lot of damage, but I have got the advantage there. So now they've swapped out, I will throw the Surf again to just get a little bit of a head start on HP. So obviously they're going to be throwing their charge moves really quickly. So that one was a Hydro Cannon, so good job not shielding that. So again, getting to a second one, Hydro Cannon again, and I should have thrown that Moon Blast straight away, but was trying to get a little bit of extra energy. So throwing the Moon Blast now to see if I can get a debuff, and I did manage to get a debuff. So not going to shield this up, it will be another Hydro Cannon. But as you can see, the Swampert really puts in the work, and I just threw that because I didn't want another Hydro Cannon coming through and losing switch advantage, so that's really important there. So out comes the Alolan Muk, and that should be able to take me down pretty quickly, but thankfully I was able to get to a Moon Blast. It gets to those charge moves so quickly. It did charge me down, so there's a lot of energy, which is why I've come out into my own Alolan Muk, because it can throw that energy and it's going to be absolutely wasting it. Not wasting it, but much less effective against my Alolan Muk than it would be against my Lapras. So I'm hoping that they don't have anything that's super effective against Lapras in the back, and they've got a Charmer. So with absolutely all the health in the world, and Gunk Shot was able to one-shot it. So perfect, absolutely perfect to build up all that extra energy on their Alolan Muk to be able to throw as soon as that Charmer came out. So like I said, the Charmers are an absolute pain. Their fast move, which is incredibly slow, but it does so much damage. So that charm damage just really adds up. So got to be careful of that. So as you can see, this team's working fairly well for me, to be honest. I really do like the team. It gets some good leads, so lots of leads in terms of the Giratina lead, which is really positive for me. And then the question is, this one was running Ancient Power, which was crazy. I did not think anyone would be running Ancient Power anymore after the nerf, and then it didn't shield up the Ice Beam, so that's absolutely outstanding for me. So I will shield this one up because it's going to be another Ancient Power, and I want to leave this match with a little bit of health. So this one's just the Dragon Claw, so thankfully I didn't shield that up, and then we'll get into the next match with a Surf. Out comes the Reggie, which is really not great for us, so just straight up surfing this. It's going to be resisting the Ice Shard damage, and then obviously it'll resist Ice Beam as well, so you just want to throw as many surfs as possible. So no shield here. Lapras has done its job, and out comes the Alolan Muk. So again, the danger here is the Focus Blast, and you can tank one. So at this health, let the first one through, and it's just the Flash Cannon. So as it turns out, Flash Cannon basically does the same amount of damage as Focus Blast anyway. So it's probably, if you're versing a Alolan Muk, it's potentially not worth the extra. And so there, I 100% should have shielded that and got my own move. Yeah, so being able to charge to another Dark Pulse. So that's really bad, because out comes the Cresselia in the back, and that just absolutely walls. Well, Cresselia versus Cresselia, and then they've got the Reggie in the back. So this match takes an absolute age to happen, and just moonblasting one another backwards and forwards, hoping for a debuff, and for them hoping not to be debuffed. So it's a really painful match to watch. So out they come with charged energy, throw the flash. Oh, so they threw a Focus Blast, but they were able to almost time me out. So they got me down and then swapped out, and they had 2 Pokemon. I had the 1. So they took that win. So really painful, those long ones, and 100% should have used the shield on the Alolan Muk there, being able to throw the Dark Pulse onto the Registeel, and then do some damage on the their Cresselia when it came out. So really frustrating, that one. 100% my choice. Shield usage is a huge component. So for this one, this is if it's the right match, this is one that you don't want to do. So they got there pretty quickly, so I'm hoping that's a Flash Cannon, which it is. So I've correctly not shielded that, and then I've overcharged here, not shielded it again, thinking it's going to be another Flash Cannon, and instead it's a Focus Blast, and it one-shots me. So that is putting me at, let's be honest, this is good game right here, and let's try and come back from it and see what we get. So they've not shielded the Reggie, and then they've managed to bait with a Flash Cannon, and I've shielded that up. So hopefully I can take this out. So they've put in 1 shield, so we're now equal shields, but they're obviously at a massive advantage. They have switched out, which means they're switch locked in, which is absolutely perfect for me. I can get this Cresselia in there and do some damage against the Poliwrath, and this potentially gives me a slither of hope. So now's to start throwing the Moonblast. So what I need to do is try and farm up as much energy as I can, because the Registeel's going to be coming out and resisting all of my moves. So unfortunately, Poliwrath does get to Ice Punches very fast, so I've had to throw the energy and take it out. So that's burnt some energy, and then out comes the Giratina. So had I played the first match up a little bit better, I may have done okay here. The question is, what do I do here? I shield this up, which is an absolute mistake of a move. Swap into my the Alolan Muk there, over farm a little bit, throw the charge move, and let's see if I can get to another charge move onto the Giratina. So the Giratina's got energy, and we're getting close, and it's just farmed me down. So 1 little bar of health. So what I should have done there is save that shield, let the Cresselia go down, and save that shield for the Alolan Muk, because then I could have thrown a bit more damage. So for that one, went 3 and 5. So overall, went 7 and 3. So pretty happy with that, those back-to-back 5, and then for the reward managed to get the Dino. So Overall, pretty good. Got a trash throw there. This one should be a little bit better. It is. Managed to hit that excellent throw and then catch it there with the Pineapple Berry. So that's a couple of my matches with leading Lapras, and it's been really, really good for me. So I'm really liking the Lapras, and I'll probably stick with it for a little while. It does. So my team really struggles against fighters. If you have a fighter in the lead, or and you can't match it up against the Cresselia, you're in trouble. So there's a few weaknesses that my team has, and one of them is the what's now very popular, being the Galarian forms. So, I mean, we'll see if they pop up more and more, but that is it for now. So hopefully that was useful for someone. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.